Morning people, Yannick in the wild, nice and early on a Saturday morning, feeling pretty tired. Still, out on a run, trying to trim some fat, here to talk to you man. Yesterday we spoke about the older retro Chelsea badge being reintroduced for the third kit next season. Mixed reviews, talking about how that badge wasn't too popular back in the day. I've got no issue with it for a third kit. Fleeting one season wonder. And also, of course, we reacted to the news that Jordan is still interested in a London club between Chelsea and Tottenham. They'd prefer Chelsea for a few reasons. Unsurprisingly, they want Champions League football. We might be able to offer that. And I think today we'll talk a bit about the Villa game, maybe some Chelsea news stuff as well. So, yeah, I should probably start running again. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yes, what's happening, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, host Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I do genuinely hope that. And welcome to Chelsea News. Today, I would like to react to an article by Twomey of The Athletic. Liam Twomey, here he is. Do Chelsea need to upgrade in the transfer market to become title contenders? We will. We're also going to build a lineup for Aston Villa, the Aston Villa game tomorrow. We're going to build a lineup for Chelsea, not Aston Villa, before the Aston Villa game. Of course, Villa themselves in a bit of a stinky patch of form, and we will be hoping to win this game at home against the Villa tomorrow. So we've got plenty of time to do all this and get into it. So thank you for joining me as always. Please do consider supporting the content simply by liking and subscribing. Hell, only if you want. I mean, drop a like, mate. Do you know what I mean? Tap your finger or whatever. Even if you're watching on... It's easy to like a video, but if you like my content, then why not subscribe? Join the gang. Road to 200,000 subscribers. We're going to start with this article, I think. And then we're going to talk about the game. And we are going to build a lineup, which should be fun. I do have a squad builder, footbin.com set up, good to go there. We'll do that shortly. But we are going to start on this article from the true Meister of The Athletic himself. See what he's saying. He's saying this: optimism is back its style at Chelsea. By the way, here's the article. We don't need to necessarily read through it together. I'm not going to read it all, potentially. Maybe not. It's behind a paywall. I'd urge you to go. I'd waft you in the direction of The Athletic. It's good. It's good old-fashioned writing. Twomey's an excellent journalist. But optimism is back its style at Chelsea. Enzo Maresca's young team have emerged from a testing early Premier League schedule on a clear Champions League qualification trajectory. Even that makes me feel uncomfortable, saying how clear it is. With an extended run of theoretically more favourable fixtures, providing an opportunity to consolidate our hold on the top 4 race. Could be a top 5 race as well, guys. 5th could get Champions League football. Let's remember that. Cole Palmer is still really, really good, even if he and Chelsea are now being forced to adjust to opponents knowing just how good he is. Him essentially getting kicked all the time. Around him, of course, we've got a talented core of players. We've got added greater coherence under the summer appointment of Maresca to the confidence cultivated last season by Pochettino. Yeah, because we ended good with Pochettino. We went on a bit of a positive run, though you guys know I did have questions of how we were playing. We were getting results, but it was terrifying. It was terrifying. The debilitating injury crisis that derailed significant portions of last season has eased, of course, apart from the depressing news of Reece James. And the co-owners of Chelsea, Clearlake Capital and Bowley, are assembling a young squad primed to peak in the game's post-Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp era, as it's already being validated by outside events. Klopp, of course, has already gone, and though Liverpool appeared to have immediately nailed the transition with Arne Slot, contract decisions with Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, and all presently, of course, free agents in the summer loom large. Guardiola has extended his stay at Man City, although he is losing his mind. That's not Twomey's words, that is mine. He's clearly in a very difficult position at the moment, Pep Guardiola. Of course, Arsenal still good as well. Probably missing a proper conventional striker, you'd have to say. Maybe a worldy left winger to be the counterpart for Bukayo Saka. Again, me talking, not Twumi. Yeah, it does feel like there's an opportunity now to start moving forwards, but I've got a second channel, Football Yannick. Go check it out. I talk non-Chelsea stuff. I've expressed my concern about Liverpool and Onslaught, although I don't feel like they'll last forever. You know, Salah, like those three players that could go, and there's something about Liverpool that they just look wicked now, and I don't necessarily look at Arne Slot's Liverpool and think, ooh, this is the beginning of a dynasty. Maybe I'm just hopeful thinking here, touch wood or whatever. Chelsea have needed no encouragement to operate with the mindset for these sky-high ambitions in the first 2 years of the ownership. For better or for worse, the transfer market has been a key area in which to demonstrate the scale of the new owner's ambition, and that will not change, though Maresca has hinted during a press conference in September that the season's winter window and beyond at Chelsea will look very different of what's come before. Maybe, because we were pretty much there. We've got a sick squad, we've got loads of talent, players that are probably going to come in and settle into I still think Sancho and Neto will be starters at Chelsea over, Mudryk and Noni and, other players that have been playing out wide. That's what I think personally. He said this: the target after last summer is to try and do less things. This is Maresca. But more specific, he said, so essentially probably one or two, I imagine. This is the target for January and next summer, hopefully. It can be like this. So Chelsea are out of the overhaul business. The squad, contract and salary structure are now broadly where Clear Lake want them to be. So from here, the upgrades will be more targeted, and the desired gains inevitably more marginal. Step 1 could reasonably be described as navigating a path from being an older, expensive, wage terms team to good, young, and cheaper. Step 2 is figuring out how to go from good to great. Also, look, like there's still work to be done, man, in the window, of course. We still need to get Raheem Sterling's situation sorted, which doesn't look like Arsenal are going to be interested at all in signing him. A couple more in there as well. Chilwell as well, which is delicate, but I don't think he's going to kick up a fuss or anything. And he's a great player. Chile still in his prime. Elite potential energizes Chelsea's recruitment staff, but the youthfulness coursing through the first team squad at Cobham complicates many of these decisions. A burst of internal development can quickly transform from tenor of conversation and need to reinforcement specific. Well, this is very wordy. Very, very wordy. One last summer, there was a consensus that Chelsea needed an elite number 9. Of course, we looked at Osimhen. 3 months on, Jackson's on pace to score 22 non-penalty goals in the Premier League this season. Which, by the way, if he does, I always feel like it's important to say non-penalty goals. You could, if a striker is only on non-penalty goals like Jackson, you could add, I always used to say Tammy scored 15. If he was on penalties and not Jorginho, Tammy Abraham, he could have got 22 league goals, which would have been excellent, And similarly, if he's on 22, Nico Jackson, if he gets 22 non-penalty league goals this season, right? You add penalties to that, and that's nearly 30 league goals, which would have been insane. Insane. As long as they're playing well in the Conference League, Christopher Nkunku remains highly overqualified understudy. We'll see what happens with him. Talks about midfielders as well. Of course, we know we've got the likes of Cesare Casadei, Leslie Ugochukwu, but with Andre Santos, he's probably the one that makes the most sense coming into the first team. The physical frailties of Reece James and Wesley Fofana leave space in the middle on the right of Chelsea's defence. Of course, there's big talk of Josh Achiampong. I've spoken about this recently, the young academy player who can play right centre-back, who can play right-back. He has been featuring in matchday squads for the youth team again. He's been training with the first team again. I've reacted to Felix Johnson on social media, his news. He's well connected to the academy. That actually there could be a progression with the contract situation of Josh Achiampong. Remember, guys, this is a kid that is wanted by Real Madrid, PSG, Premier League teams that, like Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich reportedly ready to give him first team minutes, which is wild because we can't give him first team. We can give him first team minutes in the conference. And just to be real here, he should be starting in the Conference League. He should be playing. If Mark Gu gets a start, Josh Achampong should definitely be starting at right back over Disasi. We should be playing, especially with Reece James out and Malo Gusto being managed, because Malo Gusto's, thank God we've got him, but he's still not, completely without his fragilities. Like, he still gets injured. We need to sign Josh on a new deal. Let's move on. On the positions that stands apart, of course, Rob Sanchez. He turned 27 this month. This is his 5th season in the Premier League. And for me, this is what we need to understand. This isn't some kid that we brought in from another, country and league. 5th season in the Premier League. Half a decade in the Premier League. That's a sample size, bro. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing beyond infrequent flashes within a sizable body of evidence to suggest a world-class breakthrough is in his future. No, exactly. The audible lack of trust in him among the Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge provide another obstacle. Summer signing Philip Jorgensen has quietly made an encouraging start and may soon force a number one change, but this does not immediately come across as the kind of generational talent that requires to banish the unloved shadow of Thibaut Courtois. Of course, he's excellent. Maresca needs one of these unicorn keepers, Twomey writes, like Alisson or Edison, who combines spectacular fundamentals with technical polish of an outfield player. Yeah, there's big hopes on teenager Mike Penders. Even though he's not really had much experience at the top level, people look at him like he could be the one. But again, you're not going to throw an 18-year-old with just a few appearances in his career to be Chelsea's first-team goalkeeper. It is a goalkeeper, guys. Maresca has been consistent in saying what he and Chelsea need more than any transfer upgrade is time. Chelsea are, of course, the youngest team in the Premier League by some distance. Second place being Bournemouth, and I think they're like 2 years older on average. So Chelsea are a bunch of children, and they need time. There's a much more interesting stuff in this. Go check it out, but I want to bring it home quickly. I went on Matisse's Mars channel, Matisse, and he asked me... Okay, lots of transitions there. He asked me, are Chelsea in a title race? This article is pondering the question, are Chelsea in a title race? I'll have to say, no. Not for me. I think maybe we're in a race for second if we keep doing really well. I just look at Liverpool, I look at how settled they are, how ready they are to go, how... they've got good depth. They've got like a really good 8 to 16 players they can turn to that will all be really good, that know their bodies, that know how to recover midweek Champions League games back at the weekend. I just don't think we're anywhere near that yet, which is fine because we're the youngest team and they're like the 3rd or 4th oldest team. So we'll get there. We're not on the title race this season. Look, if we win the title, happy as Larry, mate. If we win the Premier League this season, I will, I'm not going to say I'll do anything because I've been called out on that before, but I'll be very, very happy, all right? Okay, let's talk about the game. So Crystal Palace, Aston Villa even. Freaking, I must have saw Crystal Palace somewhere. Right, hold on, here we go. They have not been good of late. As you can see, we click on more matches here. Let's have a look, shall we? Where are we here? Right, 1 second. Oh, I'm ruddy miles away. Here we are. So Chelsea versus Crystal Palace here. Tomorrow, they've just drawn to Juventus in the world's most boring game. I mean, Juve have been hella boring this season. They drew to Aston Villa 2-2, lost 2-0 to Liverpool, lost 1-0 to Club Brugge, lost 4-1 to Tottenham, lost 2-1 to Crystal Palace. That's probably where I saw it. And then they drew with Bournemouth. Of course, they got a win to Bologna and before that. So they are not in great form, basically. They started really, really well under Unai Emery. I'm very mindful because Unai Emery is a great coach. They've got a great team. They've got great players. And whenever a team's in bad form and they're coming to Stamford Bridge, I'm always terrified, especially if they're a good team in bad form and they go to Chelsea and have an opportunity to basically get their groove back, Charity FC, etc., as we used to call ourselves. So let's build a team that's going to beat these guys. Who shall we play? Guys, I know many of you will be hoping he eventually gets into the first team, but let's be honest for the moment, while we're still on a good run-ish, we've lost 3 games in a long time. We've lost 2 games this season, but going back into last season, we obviously had that winning run, and then the last time we lost a game was actually quite a long time ago in that season, so Chelsea don't lose often at all. Rob Sanchez has basically frustrated us in games, giving up. I remember him just passing the balls to Declan Rice and stuff like that. But until he's had a proper howler, and again, Jorgensen, has done really well in the Conference League. It's a different level though. Let's be real, Rob Sanchez is going to start in this game, okay? Similarly, rested Cucurella is going to start at left back. Malo Gusto, even though he was out, he was out for a while unwell, he'll certainly be ready for this game. What I don't want to see is him doing this. There's a very strong chance he might be inverting into that right sort of number 10, number 8 spot. I don't mind him doing this into the central defensive midfield, but I don't want to see him up here, although there's a very good chance we will see that. We will continue to try and see it's not even a rare card, that's so cold. Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill centre-back partnership. Jeez, it's even worse. My boys, they will get their flowers soon. Yes, of course, we spoke about title races and transfers. Maybe eventually there's Chelsea sign a centre-back. But, there's great future, great potential in these 2 young defenders. Let's hope they can keep developing, keep flourishing, keep building that chemistry. I just realised we need to do this. Okay, so let's be real. Caicedo is going to play at central defensive midfield. He is going to play about there. Now, there is a chance Cucurella inverts. I don't see it happening too much. I see Cucurella sort of tucking in, maybe making that back free, playing around here, and Gusto probably going up here, frustratingly. I just see it happening. Cole Palmer will start this game. Hopefully, we will have some of that Unai Emery high line. And then we can Palmer can creatively play people in behind. Now, this is the $1 million question. Enzo Fernandez or Lavia? Now, the streets are starting to get split a little bit. Some people want Enzo Fernandez to come back in. Some people are thinking Lavia. I think because of this kind of game, I think he's going to stick with Lavia. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Enzo Fernandez feature off the bench, maybe at a 60-minute mark for 30 minutes. And should that happen, but also should he start? That I think many Chelsea fans will be okay with that. Nico Jackson will of course start up top. We'll be looking to reignite the combination between these 2 guys, Palmer and Jackson. They've got great chemistry. Palmer needs to stop being kicked out of games, personally. Now, I've been very vocal of how I want to see this lineup eventually finish. I want Jadon Sancho on the left. I want Pedro Neto on the right. Obviously, both of them can play either side, but that's their preferred sides. Jadon Sancho played a lot in the midweek. He's getting his fitness back. He will not play, or certainly start in this game, which means Neto will start on the left flank. Pedro Neto. He will start on the left wing, which means Noni Madueke will start on the right wing. And that, I think, will be the lineup. Now, if Noni doesn't have a good game, he sort of played all right for England. He sort of looked okay. If he doesn't play well too well here, I see him, to be honest, I see him coming off, Pedro Neto moving over to his native right wing. And then Jadon Sancho maybe, but if we've got space running in behind, I wonder if he'll turn to Mudryk to come in and play like that afterwards. But I do, it depends, because they're going to be space in transition, they will sit low, Aston Villa, they'll try and hit on the break, they'll play it, they'll squeeze up sometimes, they'll play a high line. You want speed in behind. Both these guys, Neto and Mudryk, are super. And Jackson as well. He's really, really fast. A lot of people don't know actually how fast this guy is. To be honest, that front, if you've got these two CDMs protecting your back four, invert whoever you want in the fullback, Palmer can look, sort of drop into the sort of deeper half spaces and look for either one of these three guys and just play in behind, and we can just absolutely rinse that high line. Pedro's rapid, Jackson's rapid, Mudryk's rapid. You could see that as well, to be honest. Like, it's plausible, you know. All right, this is going to be a tough game. We won't keep a clean sheet, I don't think. Because it's just going to take time. I do think we'll win. Are we in that sort of phase where our away form is better than our home form again? I sort of feel there is a bit of that. I think it's going to be a tight game. I got the score prediction right against Leicester. I said it will be 2-1 Chelsea, and it was 2-1. A lot of people thought 4-1 Jan, and then obviously we scored early or whatever. But I do think this is going to be tight again. I'm going to go Villa on a. It's almost like Villa are going to beat us or draw. It's either going to be like a 1-1 because Villa sort of find a bit of form and make it a really tough game. But I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say 3-1 Chelsea. So a 3-1 home win against Aston Villa. I'll put it up to you guys. What do you think? Leave your thoughts, your changes to my formation down in the comment section. And score lines and stuff, and your thoughts on the transfer stories. Thank you as always for joining me, and I'll see you after the game. I'll see you back here every day, hopefully, on the channel. Peace.